Nancy Horman, and I work for the Downtown Tempe community, better known as the DTC. I'm not here today, although I'd really like to be. Unfortunately, it's a holiday weekend and we had some plans to be out of town.
I'm Heather Hernandez. I go by Smiles. I lived on Thomas Avenue, just across the border of Phoenix and Tempe. But I spent time on the streets in Tempe. I lived on the streets. My family is from this area, and I've lived here all my life. Love Arizona. I may be here tonight, but due to illnesses, I might not be here for long.
My name is Shane Mueller, and I work for the city. I'm just here to answer questions about the trees, especially along Mill Avenue.
I performed on Broadway 45 years ago in Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, and I knew immediately I did not like the life of rejection. So I came back home, went to graduate school, raised my family, and started the first business improvement district in Sacramento, and then went on to San Francisco. I really like living in Sacramento because it's a city of trees, and there is a park in the middle of almost every neighborhood.
A bus pass costs $55 for a monthly bus pass. My son Quentin's birthday is February 28, 2009. Best blessing ever happened to me. Rent is $512 a month, and it's not easy to get that. My dad's birthday was yesterday, February 15th. I'm celebrating that. He is my biggest supporter. He passed away in January last year. In 7th grade, I won the talent show. I played my mother. She didn't appreciate it at all. Really, she didn't. I have not been on stage since then. Sometimes my boyfriend and I will plug our cell phones in and put them right beside each other's ears, heads, however you want to think of it. And it's like we're sleeping with each other. But we're sleeping on the phone with each other. So, he makes me feel safe at night.
They're the ones that are truly homeless, and then they're the ones that choose to live on the street. And they're part of a migratory thing that comes from Seattle to Portland and then on to Tempe. A while ago, a group of us held...
And so tell me about that.
A while ago, we held this round table and with some of the street population, a representative from police department, and one of the city council people. And we sat down to try to see how we could all coexist. Obviously, there was a little bit of a disconnect because one of the guys showed up with a machete hanging from his belt. After we talked for about a half an hour, we got them to really tell us why they hung out on Mill Avenue. And it was because of our abundance of street pedestrians, and this was the place in the valley where they could make the most money.
Mill Avenue is stressful. The trees show their stress, the stress of being exposed to the direct sunlight, asphalt, heat, car exhaust, and sometimes drunk people grabbing branches and breaking them off. The business owners want them to be pruned higher than they should be, and that's stressful for them. The trees get a canker, or they get this kind of black film you can see along them.
Mill rats are people who stay or live on Mill Avenue, people who look or who are homeless. Some people who don't live on the streets, they'll put charcoal, dirt, or whatever they have to put on there all over to go eat, to make sure that they can panhandle. People who's actually homeless actually really go panhandle so they can eat for that night because they don't get to eat.
I'd say there's about 30 of our so-called mill rats, and about 90% of them choose to live on the streets. The disabled, the older ones, the military vet in the wheelchair, for the most part, they don't bother anybody. the guy who grabs the food off of the diner's plate in an outdoor cafe, or the group of belligerent youth who bark obscenities at people as they walk by, and they know just how far to go before they break the law. These mill rats, they make it harder for people who are truly homeless because they harden people's perceptions of who lives on the streets.
I've lived in Arizona my whole entire life, all over, but mainly in Phoenix. And I was homeless throughout since I was 15 years old in Tempe on the streets, unfortunately. But I'm no longer on the streets. I've gotten my own place. I've just moved out. I'm getting a new apartment as of Sunday. I will be moved into a new apartment. So excited.
This company comes in from California, West Coast Arbor, and once a year in October, they bring their trucks and equipment and they trim and prune everything. They have a crew of 6 people and they are here for a week, working 8 hours a day.
Yes, it's due to because of juggalos. People, juggalos is people take them as
Juggalos.
Yes, people take juggalos as gang members, but they're not gang members. It's just like a big old actual family members who have just kicked their own family out into the streets, who don't basically they don't feel loved or anything, so they go to become a juggalo, and they become a big huge family, and they just decided to name themselves a mill rat. Same with like in the metro area, people who's homeless in the metro area, they call each other metro cats, and that's because they're all one big huge family, and juggalos is worldwide.
We do irrigation so they get water underground 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, mixed in with a little fertilizer. It's like an IV drip with little vitamins in it. And we do street cleaning, power washing, garbage, 7 days a week from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. or so.
In Dallas, they decided to enact 4 economic development zones. And those zones are not all in downtown, but they are all no panhandling zones. When we brought this up to our city attorney, he explained to us that because of recent rulings, it would be very hard in this circuit court to get anything changed that has to do with the First Amendment. Our circuit courts here have overturned almost all the rulings for the cities in the West, and we're finding that it's really difficult to get anything changed that will impede someone's freedom of expression.
We prune up from the inside, so you start in the center and you take out any excess and work your way to the end of a branch. You get rid of the density because the density is what makes the starlings want to nest there.
In 8th grade, I was the valedictorian for 8th grade, and I had a speech I had to do at the Marquis Theater. I was very nervous then as I am now. Oh, people don't laugh. You're making me laugh once you hear this. Also in 8th grade, I was in the citywide spelling bee, and I lost. I was the 7th place, but I lost due to the word peanut butter. Somebody had told me if you think of everyone naked, it'll help you. Well, when peanut butter came around, I said peanut balls. I spelled peanut balls and I lost.
The starlings give us a lot of trouble. They are here from about October, November, through about April. They're gone when it gets too hot.
When I was in San Francisco, we determined that most of the panhandlers were on the same corner on this every day, day in and day out. And we wanted to figure out how much money were they really making as panhandlers. So we trained a camera on them, and after a couple of months, we determined that they were making about $60,000 a year. Now, why don't they have to pay taxes?
So as a woman, we need about 20 different eyeshadows, and about from the ages of 25 to 26, most girls do get. I'm only 23, and I still have a total of 27 eyeshadows in my makeup box right now. And guys make us feel like we need to make sure we were pretty and stuff all over our faces. But me and my son Quentin, we go through in a month about $2,500 to $3,000, $2,500 to $3,000 a month for our supplies. A child is not cheap. You gotta make sure you get clothes. Every month they grow more and more and more. And my son, I get him every little thing he wants. Okay. Oh, and I think I know who brought the machete to the meeting that she was talking about. If I had a restaurant on Mill Avenue, I would let all the homeless people use the bathroom whenever they need to, when the restaurant's open, of course. But otherwise, when you're homeless, unfortunately, the Starbucks on Mill Avenue, the McDonald's around the corner, they won't let you use the bathroom. Not even to get a cup of water, it don't matter. They will call the bumblebees and put you in jail for a day. They kick you off. Tumbleweed is open until it opens at 11 o'clock now to 4 p.m. And once Tumbleweed's closed, you have to go to your campsite. You can't go to your campsite exactly until 2 in the morning, and sometimes you could go there at 10, but that's only on the weekends.
The trees, they really can suffer in the heat. June, July, August, when it gets up around 116 degrees, and the tree is out there in front of the bank building with the mirrored glass. That's when you start to see the signs of distress.
In 3 or 4 years, if we don't have some sort of solution, this city is going to become an even larger haven for people who want to beg for a living.